Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday morning live stream. I'm hyped to be here. Pride's hyped to be here. We're excited to be talking some fantasy football here again on this Sunday. Pride, he's got his Charger stuff on. I got my Chiefs stuff on. It's going to be a great game day. We face off today, not in fantasy football, but at least in real life football. So super excited for that. We got a great show lined up. We got a great show. We're going to talk some news and notes. We're also going to be talking some in and out. We're going to be talking questions and setting lineups, all sorts of things. There's been a ton of stuff that has just been thrown out over the last couple of days. If you haven't checked out our latest podcast, maybe do that after this one. We talk through a lot of the matchups and we kind of do some more start-sit advice. So if you want more of that content, go ahead and check that out. We are 3 times a week, so it does drop on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So make sure you check that out. Pride, how are we doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I can't wait for the Chargers to start 2-0 this season. So really hyped about that.
See, Pride, that's funny. That's genuinely really funny that you say that because, I watched Tyrod Taylor move the ball against that Bengals defense, and it looked really bad. And then I watched Baker Mayfield move the ball against that exact same Bengals defense, and he looked significantly better. So are you just chopping that up to week 1 jitters, or are you just not concerned?
Yeah, I'll just chop that up to just kind of, first time running his offense, just a few bumps. They probably fixed it over the week. It's going to be fine.
Golly, Pride. They looked really bad. You can't sit there and say that with a straight face. You know that they looked bad. Yeah, we got a question in here real quick. Let's go ahead and get to it. Coming in from TS. Thank you for your question, my man. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream so far. Thank you for stopping by. Deontay Johnson, CeeDee Lamb, Anthony Miller, full point per reception. In my opinion, Pride, I think we absolutely have to be going Deontay Johnson here. I'm all aboard the hype train. I've been all aboard the hype train really this entire off season. I maybe got off it just a little bit when the injury came up in camp, but I've really been big on Deontay Johnson. I thought he looked really good last year. And looking back at his day on Monday night, it really was actually pretty good. He led the team in targets at 10. He had 6 receptions, only 57 yards. You would have liked to see a little bit more, but he just didn't get the touchdowns. I think Deontay Johnson's going to be pretty dang good for you this week. They do take on Denver, and Denver's dealing with a little bit of cornerback issues right now. And when I look at the likes of a CeeDee Lamb, I understand that Blake Jarwin is out right now, but this guy CeeDee Lamb did have 6 targets, 5 receptions, 59 yards. It was a better game technically than Michael Gallup, who was 3 of 5 for 50 yards. But Anthony Miller, in my opinion, he's definitely on the bench just because he really got bailed out with that touchdown late, in my opinion. So I don't want to chase that. I think the play is to go with Deontay Johnson. Pride, do you agree, or are you maybe leaning CeeDee Lamb or someone else?
No, I think I completely agree with you because, even though I think all 3 of those guys are going against really attackable defenses, I just think that Deontay Johnson's in the best situation because, yeah, the Cowboys are going up against the Falcons. Falcons showed week 1 against the Seahawks that their defense is once again not going to be good this year. And so I think CeeDee Lamb can put up some production. I just don't think it will be as much as Deontay Johnson because the Broncos, AJ Boye is still dealing with the injury. And so if they're having Michael Ojemudia covering Juju Smith-Schuster, then they've got their number 3 cornerback, who I don't even know his name, guarding Deontay Johnson. I love that matchup. And yeah, Anthony Miller really got bailed out there. I think he can still have a couple receptions against the Giants, but really nothing that's worth putting in your starting lineup this week.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Shout out to Clock Management Fantasy Football. Welcome in, guys. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream. Thank you for stopping by. Highly appreciate your support. Our next question coming in from Michael Pride. Noah Fant or Dallas Goddard? These are the type of questions I love to talk about. You're talking about 2 guys who were just absolutely fantastic last week. I'm going to pull it up real quick to see exactly where they were. Yeah, Dallas Goddard was the number 2 tight end. Noah Fant was the number 3 tight end. I mean, we're just talking about Dallas Goddard, who went 8 of 9 for 101 and 1. Noah Fant, who went 5 of 6 for 81 and 1. I mean, those are both really incredible games. I think the big thing to talk about here is, are you going to chase after Dallas Goddard, knowing he's the number 2 on that team? But I mean, last week he was the number 1 target. Or are you going to go Noah Fant, who had the touchdown, who, if Courtland Sutton misses again today, is the number 1 or number 2 option? I think inevitably I go with Dallas Goddard here, because that Steelers defense is just something I'd rather not attack. Look at what happened to Evan Ingram last week. I think he had 2 catches for 7 yards. So I'm not really interested in that, where I think Dallas Goddard will have a little bit of a better matchup, just simply due to the fact that they're probably going to be trying to take away Zach Ertz first, and then they still have to deal with Deshaun Jackson over the top. And yeah, just a quick clarification, Evan Ingram was the 45th tight end last week or something like that, going 2 of 7 for 9 yards. So I think that I'm going to instead be going with Dallas Goddard in this one. We've seen time and time again both those tight ends be able to have success. Alshon Jeffrey's still out. Jalen Reagor's only in his second game. Deshaun Jackson struggled last week just because he wasn't able to connect a couple of deep times. So I do think Dallas Goddard is the better play in my opinion. Pride, where are you going in this one?
I think I would have to agree with you there. I kind of like Dallas Goddard against this Rams defense more than I like Noah Fant against the Steelers defense. But just for the sake of argument, I think I'll say Noah Fant just because he does have that big playability. And I think with kind of the injury to Courtland Sutton last week, I'm not sure if he'll be able to play this week. But I think the Broncos will really be behind most of this game, and so they'll have to be throwing the ball. Whereas the Eagles, yeah, they looked really bad against Washington last week, but I do think that they have a chance to keep it close against the Los Angeles Rams, and Miles Sanders being back may lead them to run the ball more, which may lead to Dallas Goedert not getting as many targets. So, I mean, Michael, I really love your tight end situation. I really don't think you can go wrong with either of these guys. In the end, if I had to choose, I think I would lean Dallas Goedert, but really Noah Fant I think can also do well against the Steelers.
Yeah. Yeah, Dallas Goedert. I'm on board. I'm on board. Noah Fant really killed me last week. If you guys don't know, I was up by 2 points. I was up by 2 points on Big Man Mike last week going into Monday night. I had Eric Ebron and AJ Brown, and he had Noah Fant, and I lost by 10. So hate that for me. That was really trash. Moving on to our next question coming in from Kyle. Where is Devontae Freeman's ceiling? Kyle, he's not on a football team. So I would say his ceiling is roughly 10 feet tall, maybe. Maybe he's got higher ceilings in his crib. Not exactly sure, but his fantasy football ceiling, at least as of right now, is not very high. He could get signed to a team, of course, when an injury happens, but as of right now, not very high. Moving on, another question coming. Pride, do you have a comment on that?
I just want to put in, there are a lot of leagues that I'm in that people have Devontae Freeman on their bench. I don't really understand why, though, because, I mean, until he signs with the team, he's just going to be a wasted spot on your bench where you could put someone else, like the waiver claim of the week, on there instead. But I just don't understand why people are holding on to him right now, because even if he gets signed by a team, I think most teams have a running back situation kind of figure it out at this point. So if he does, then it'd probably be in a running back by committee, which you never love to see in fantasy.
Yeah. Well, moving on to our next question coming in from Michael. Well, I guess hold on real quick. We'll go back to his earlier question. He commented back that those are his backups in his 10-man league behind Kittle. My man knows how to draft some tight ends. That's for sure. Me personally, I would probably try to trade one to get some better value at another position, because I think either or you're going to be fine rest of the season, especially with George Kittle. They're expecting him back for week 3. He is going to be out week 2 if you haven't heard yet, but that's a really good position to have. That is a lot better than my position. My position in my most important leagues, I have Chris Herndon and Logan Thomas right now, which actually, hopefully someone will ask a question similar to that. I think is a very interesting debate, because Chris Herndon, with Jamison Crowder out, is probably going to be the number 1 target in New York. And also that San Francisco defense is hurting because Richard Sherman's out. They've also got some other folk out right now. So maybe Chris Herndon has a good game, but also Logan Thomas had a pretty good week 1. He was really the number 2 when it came to targets. So very interesting there. Maybe I'll ask you later, Pride. We're not playing each other. Our next question also coming in from Mike. We've got start 2, Jonathan Taylor, Austin Eckler's, Miles Sanders. That's easy for me. I'm going Jonathan Taylor and Miles Sanders. I'm not even going to think about it twice. I think that's going to be the highest ceiling. Pride?
I think I'm going to go Miles Sanders and Austin Eckler. I think those two. I think last week we saw, obviously, Austin Eckler did not live up to his production from last year. But I think this upcoming week they're going to have to really fight a lot harder than they did against the Bengals. And so I think the Chargers are going to have to throw the ball more, line up Austin Eckler in the slot like they didn't really even do that last week when that really was his bread and butter a lot of times last season. So I think they're going to have to do that more. Whereas Jonathan Taylor, yeah, he did get a lot of receiving work last week, but I think with Marlon Mack out, he's actually going to see a little less receiving work, and it's going to go more so to Nyheim Hines, while he'll just focus more on running the ball.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. I think that'll be pretty good still. The only reason that I question Austin Eckler is, I mean, look at what he did last week. He was very bad last week. He was not involved in the receiving game. I don't want to play that game of, is he going to be involved in the receiving game this week? I mean, this was somebody who was outside the top 50 last week. So yeah, I'm not really interested in him. Jonathan Taylor, however, he was somebody that was just much more interesting to me looking overall at his performance. He only had the 9 touches on the ground for 22 yards, which really does concern me, but at least he was still involved in the receiving game. I think that's going to go up. I think Jonathan Taylor is a really good running back, so I think that it is going to get better, and I think this is going to be a good week for him. We saw how bad that Minnesota defense was, so yeah, I think it's going to be a good week for him. Michael also did put in the chat. He said Goddard was his trade bait pick, just picked up Fant off the waivers this past week. I mean, that's an incredible move. I would definitely be looking at trading him ASAP. I mean, if you can do it today, do it today before week 2 happens. Week 1 is honestly the best time to try to get trades done, just because people are going to be overreacting and they're going to want to be interested. So that is all the questions we have right now. If you guys do have questions, go ahead. Make sure you do pop them in the chat below. We'll talk about them. We'll help set some lineups. But I guess in the meantime, Pride, that was nice to have some questions off the bat. Let's talk a little bit news and notes. Just kind of go in some guys that have been updated since the last time we had our podcast. So starting here, Titans wide receiver A.J. Brown has officially been ruled out for the game against Jacksonville. Pride, what should fantasy owners be doing? Should they be pivoting to Corey Davis, Paris Campbell maybe, or Deontay Johnson, or someone else? What do you think that they should be doing with this play?
I kind of feel bad about this because I said that it was just a 1-week wonder last week, but I think that Corey Davis might be the play if A.J. Brown is out, because Corey Davis, I was one who, after saw the news, I just picked him up off the waiver wire in one of my leagues, and I think he showed last week, even with A.J. Brown in there, he can perform, and I'm scared to say it, but I think he can perform again this week. So I might go that way.
I'm on Twitter right now, and I just see Corey Davis trending, and I was – he was a little bit, he was on the waiver wire a little bit earlier, or not the waiver wire, excuse me, the injury report earlier on in the week. And I just see all of these people being like, I can't believe I'm going to have to start Corey Davis today. And then like a clown pictures and stuff like that. So that's really funny. I am definitely someone who I've been off the Corey Davis hype train for a while, and I don't think I'm going to get back on it. Personally. Got another question coming in here from Ben Simmons. Welcome in, Ben. Hopefully you are enjoying the show. This is a good question right here. Flex position, David Johnson or Ronald Jones? Ben, if you're still listening, if you could drop in the chat, if it's half point, full point, PPR, or standard, that would also help. This is very interesting to me. Ronald Jones, my start of the week this week, because I really think that this is going to be a very attackable matchup. We saw Josh Jacobs last week have 3 rushing touchdowns and almost 100 yards against the Carolina Panthers. And it is PPR. He just put in the chat, it is PPR Pride. So catching the ball does matter. I really think at the end of the day, I'm going to stick with my start of the week, and I'm going to go Ronald Jones here. He was involved in the passing game, and he was also involved in the rushing game significantly more. I'll pull up the splits real quick, just so I have the numbers to back it up. Yeah, Ronald Jones, 17 attempts compared to Leonard Fournette's 5, and receiving the ball, he was also the team's leading receiver out of the backfield, having 3 targets and 2 receptions for 16 yards. So I'm going to be going him. The argument for David Johnson is there, especially because they're probably going to be playing from behind. He only had 11 attempts on the ground last week, which kind of concerns me. He had 77 yards rushing, but there's no way he's going to average 7 yards per carry against this Baltimore Ravens defense. And he really was not that involved in the passing game because he only caught 3 of 4 for 32 yards. So me personally, I think I'm going to be off of David Johnson in this situation. I go Ronald Jones, and I think he's going to have a massive game. I think you can definitely guarantee a touchdown for Ronald Jones, where I don't think I can say the same for David Johnson. Pride, your thoughts here?
Yeah, I can see Ronald Jones as kind of the safer play in this matchup since he's going against the Carolina Panthers. But I might lean towards David Johnson just because I really like what I saw from David Johnson this week. I really think the only thing that could limit him is Bill O'Brien's play calling. I really think even against this Baltimore Ravens defense, he can perform. So I think if you're going for like a boom kind of guy, boom or bust kind of guy, you would start David Johnson in your flex. If you're looking for just kind of a baseline of some good points, then I think you would go Ronald Jones.
Yeah. Thank you, Ben, for your question. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream. Definitely appreciate you dropping by. Let's go to our next question coming in from Kyle. Kyle, thank you for your question. Thanks for stopping by, my man. This is a toughie. Peyton Barber or Jerick McKinnon? It definitely makes me want to throw up just a wee bit. It is full PPR. It's for his flex he put later on in the chat. Man, Pride. Jerick McKinnon or Peyton Barber. Peyton Barber last week had 17 attempts for 29 yards. That is a 1.7 average, but he had 2 touchdowns. Here's the thing that might make me want to lean Jerick McKinnon is just the fact that we saw Peyton Barber not involved at all in the receiving game. Jerick McKinnon at least had 5 targets, 3 receptions for 20 yards and a touchdown. He only had 3 attempts on the ground for 24 yards. So you're really picking between 2 evils right here, in my opinion. Do you try to go with Peyton Barber and hope he stumbles his way into the end zone again? Or do you go with Jerick McKinnon, which they, in my opinion, even though George Kittle's out, I still think the 49ers are going to be up because this Jets team is really bad. I mean, really bad. In my opinion, they could be the number 1 overall pick and move on from Sam Darnold and move on from Adam Gase real quick. I think Jerick McKinnon has the better opportunity in full PPR to get you more points because I think he's going to be more involved in the receiving game. So I think inevitably I have to go with Jerick McKinnon. I think Antonio Gibson's going to get a little bit more work this week. Pride, where are you going here?
I think I actually have to go Peyton Barber on this one. Yes, I know he did not have a very good yards per carry last week, but he had 2 touchdowns. So that tells me that if they get down to the goal line, they're going to use Peyton Barber more so than anyone else. Whereas Jerick McKinnon, I think he made his money in receptions, which, I mean, full PPR, that's kind of what you want. But I'm afraid that against the Jets defense, we'll see something like we did in the playoffs where they're going to get to a lead early and then Raheem Mostert's just going to run the ball over and over and over and over again. And Jerick McKinnon's not going to have those receptions out of the backfield. So I think I would have to go Peyton Barber on this one. But to be honest, this looks like a decision that I would have to make in my 16-team league.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is also a decision I think I'd like to take a shot before I have to submit the final one and just say a little prayer and hope for the best because that is tough. Maybe there's someone. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle, in the chat. I'm pretty sure this. I might have read somewhere that this was your flex. Yes. Okay. I think it's right here. Yes. Flex, full PPR. I mean, if there's a wide receiver out there, honestly, depending on your league size, correct me in the chat if it is a 16-team league or something like that. But I mean, if this is a 12-team league or a 10-team league, then by golly, go to the waiver wire, go pick up a wide receiver like Paris Campbell if he's still out there, and try to play him over over these two guys. Let's move on to our next question coming in from Jay. Thank you, Jay, for your question. Appreciate it, my man. Hopefully you are enjoying the stream. Thanks for stopping by. Julian Edelman or DJ Chark, full point per reception pride. DJ Chark did come away with a touchdown last week, but it really wasn't that good of a game. Gardner Minshew had less than 200 passing yards. Julian Edelman, however, was the clear best wide receiver for the New England Patriots. I mean, N'Keal Harry literally threw away a touchdown into the back of the end zone for a fumble, so that kind of was tough. Let me pull up his line last week real quick. Julian Edelman was 5 of 7 for 57 yards. They do go against the Seattle Seahawks today, which means, in my opinion, they're going to have to be playing from behind, because if Russ continues to cook like he is, oh my goodness, they're going to be a very good team. But I think they're going to have to be playing from behind, which means Cam Newton is not going to be able to run the football as much. So that means inevitably Julian Edelman's going to get more work. I go with Julian Edelman here.
I'm really hesitant because I was not excited about Cam Newton's passing game last week. You know, awesome running the ball, but was not as excited in his passing game, especially against a team like the Miami Dolphins. You would assume that he'd be able to, you know, throw for more than, I think it was only around 150 yards against the Dolphins. So I'm not really excited about that. I might lean more towards DJ Chark because I think inevitably both the Patriots and Jaguars will be playing from behind in their games. Jaguars are going against the Titans this week. And so I think both teams will be playing from behind, and I think I just trust the Jaguars. Am I saying that right? I'm trusting the Jaguars passing offense more.
I can't believe you are saying that, Pride. I can't believe it. I mean, that's who would have thought that this is where we would be.
I mean, yeah, obviously I think both of these guys are the only reliable receivers on their team. Like, I think the second best wide receiver for the Jaguars last week, it was either Laviska Shenault, just because of one touchdown, or it was Keelan Cole Sr. So not too good of competition either way. I think I would be leaning more towards DJ Chark since he did get that touchdown last week, and I think he can get another one this week. Whereas Julian Edelman, I mean, yeah, he had 5 receptions for 57 yards, but that was against a Miami defense. Seahawks are much tougher, and I think I'd just rather go DJ Chark.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got some sound arguments for sure. Kyle coming in clutch here. You guys should enable donations. We should learn how to do that, Pride. That would be a very smart idea for us. If you do want to support the show, we do have merch over on our website, timeskewed.com. I'll throw a link in the chat here in a sec while we're answering the next question. Check it out. If anything fancies you, then yeah, there you go. We definitely have that, but we should work on enabling donations, and we will figure that out. If you see me struggling to my side, I do apologize. My dog really wants me to play with her lizard right now. So, yeah, trying to avoid that right now. Let's move on to our next question. Thank you, Jay, again for your question. Do appreciate it. You are correct. This is a tough one. I'm still on the Julian Edelman side, personally. Let's go on to our next question. Coming in from Tones Sports Cards. Tones, thanks you for stopping by, my man. Scotty Miller or James White, non-PPR. Thanks as always.
I feel like this one. I feel like this one is kind of obvious, just because Scotty Miller, Mike Evans, I'm still uncertain about him this week, but Chris Godwin, he's out for this week. I think Scotty Miller is going to have another good role in this Buccaneers team this week. And I mean, Tom Brady, I wasn't so sure about, but apparently he does like to throw to Scotty Miller. And so I just think with the situation, I like that more, especially since James White really didn't do anything last week.
Yeah, it could be a different story because they are playing from behind this week. But I go Scotty Miller also. With Chris Godwin out, I think Scotty Miller's opportunity to score a touchdown absolutely skyrockets, in my opinion. Also, they say that Mike Evans is doing okay, but I don't believe that. I mean, I'm someone who's very big on you're not healthy until, I don't know, like hamstring injuries to me are just so wild because you can be healthy, go out there, run literally one play, and then all of a sudden you're no longer healthy. So that's what concerns me about those hamstring injuries. So I go Scotty Miller here. I think Scotty Miller is a fantastic play, especially if it's non PPR. I'm going Scotty Miller. I don't think James White's going to get enough work to be valuable for you, I guess.
And I mean,
go ahead, Brad.
I was gonna say, like I said earlier, even if Mike Evans does play, like Chris Godwin's out, so that's a lot of targets that someone's gonna have to make up, and so Scotty Miller's gonna be in that position.
Yeah. All right, let's go to our next question coming in from Michael. Devontae Parker or Traquan Smith? Parker scares me off with White most likely traveling with him today. I agree. And the fact that he has that hamstring injury, I double down on that. And Devontae Parker for me is a sit. And I am definitely willing to play Traquan Smith, especially with the likes of Michael Thomas out. So, yeah, I think I go Traquan Smith here. I don't think you can trust Devontae Parker against White and with a hamstring injury.
Yeah, Tre'Davious White, really great cornerback. So I think I would have to agree with you with going Traquan Smith this week. With Michael Thomas out, Traquan can kind of be a deep threat kind of guy while Emmanuel Sanders kind of fills in Michael Thomas's short and get him roles. So, yeah, I think Traquan Smith, though, you will have to be relying on probably a huge touchdown reception.
Yeah, that is definitely true there. Moving on to our next question coming in from C-Dog Gaming. Chris Carson or Raheem Mostert, full point per reception. I think you have to be going Raheem Mostert here. And I want to pull up Chris Carson's numbers last week because that's what really has me concerned. Give me 1 second. So last week, Chris Carson only had 6 attempts on the ground. That might shock you for how well he did. Chris Carson had 6 attempts on the ground for 21 yards. Carlos Hyde had more attempts than Chris Carson and more yards. The big reason that Chris Carson had a good game was he was so involved in the receiving game, going 6 of 6 for 45 yards and 2 touchdowns. That, to me, is concerning. When you look at Raheem Mostert on the other side, 15 attempts for 56 yards. He was 4 of 5 for 95 yards and a touchdown. So to me, with Raheem Mostert, you're getting someone who is a better receiving option out of the backfield, in my opinion, and it has more of a workload and is going to be in a matchup where they're going to be running down the throat of the New York Jets. And if they're going to be passing, Raheem Mostert is low-key the number 1 or maybe number 2 option on that team right now to throw the ball to. I got to go Raheem Mostert here.
I think I would have to agree with you here. I mean, 2 touchdowns out of the backfield 2 receiving touchdowns out of the backfield for Chris Carson is unheard of in one game. I think, last year Chris Carson had 2 receiving touchdowns the entire season. So that I just don't think that Chris Carson is going to be too involved in the passing game 2 weeks in a row, whereas Mostert, I think you can trust him to do that, as well as, I mean, I think both teams can kind of be in control of their games this week, but I think the 49ers just going up against the Jets, they'll have more control, and so they'll be running Mostert even more. So I just think Mostert's going to have the better game just because of the matchup. You're muted. Did your mic die again?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Golly, I don't know what happened. Again, my dog playing with her dang lizard must have unplugged it or done something like that because I could hear myself. Normally, if something's wrong, I can't hear myself. But anyways, I was just saying that I do agree with you on that one, Pride. And I think low-key, Chris Carson's not going to have another receiving touchdown the rest of the season unless Russ truly has turned into Bobby Boucher and it is absolutely cooking like Gordon Ramsay or something like that.
I mean, I think Russ did say that they kind of are changing their scheme more so that they can throw more. So I think that he can get at least another receiving touchdown or 2 throughout the rest of the season, but I just don't see it coming in this game.
Moving on to our next question coming in from Ben. Again, thank you, C-Dog, for your question. Ben, coming in with this question, what are your thoughts on Jonathan Taylor? I have him because I drafted Mack and Taylor. Would you put him over Hines? That's interesting. I think the answer is a resounding yes. Here's the reason why. Nyheim Hines, I think that week 1 is going to be his best fantasy week of the entire season. If I have Nyheim Hines, which I do in a league, and I have been unsuccessful so far, I'm trying to shop Nyheim Hines. He had 7 attempts on the ground for 28 yards and a touchdown, and had 8 targets, 8 receptions for 45 yards and a touchdown. Let's go to 2019. I understand that it's going to be a different quarterback, but literally looking at Nyheim Hines last year, he had 52 rushing attempts for 199 yards and 2 touchdowns and caught 44 of 58 for 320. So that tells me he's not really that involved on the actual ground. And I think that Jonathan Taylor is going to be taking that Marlon Mack role and being very heavily involved on the ground. So I go Jonathan Taylor over Hines. I think it's going to be very unlikely that Hines has 2 touchdowns again in another game this season, where I think Jonathan Taylor can have 2 touchdowns literally this week. Maybe in other weeks. I think Jonathan Taylor long-term is going to be the better running back to have. And yes, I am more comfortable playing him over Nyheim Hines this week.
Yeah, this is tough because I really like Nyheim Hines. I really liked him ever since really Phillip Rivers became the quarterback for the Colts. But thinking about it a little more, I think I need 3 good weeks from Nyheim Hines to put him over Jonathan Taylor, because Jonathan Taylor, since he is going to be the starting running back now, and he is going to be getting, I'd say, at least 90%, if not more, of the rushing work between him and Hines, then I think that's just going to put it over top, especially since last week Taylor did catch 6 of 6 passes. And so he also showed that he can get involved in the receiving game. And so, yeah, right now I think Jonathan Taylor, you just really have to put him over Nyheim Hines right now. If Nyheim Hines can show that he can be kind of like Austin Eckler from last season, and though not having too many rushing yards, can have a lot of receiving yards, then I might change my tune. But as of right now, Jonathan Taylor is the guy to go with in Indy.
Yeah, I think that's really good analysis, Pride. Again, I'm going to throw this back up on the screen. Kyle, thank you for the kind words. Do appreciate it, my man. Jake, thank you for your question. Hopefully you are enjoying the stream. And I think we're good there. And then I did put this in the chat. I did put our merch link if you want to. Thank you again, everyone, for stopping by. Do really appreciate your time. Let's go on to our next question coming in from Tones again. Pride, oh, this is good. This is good. I love this question. Your beloved Tyrod Taylor, you're my guy, which after week 1, not looking so hot, you're my guy, Tyrod Taylor, or your former beloved Filippo Rivers, as Mike likes to say, as a QB2 today. No negatives for turnovers. Phillip Rivers, not even thinking about it twice. Phillip Rivers. Against that Minnesota defense, no negatives for turnovers, Phillip Rivers.
Okay, to be fair, Phillip Rivers was never my beloved. I was really counting down the days until he left the team. But
doing the same thing for Justin Herbert right now. Pride, what do you hold on real quick? I'm sorry. What do you think the over-under is, or what do you think the percentage is that Justin Herbert gets in this game today if the Chargers are just getting absolutely walloped?
I want to say 0,
but it's not.
No chance. But honestly, with how I've seen rookie quarterbacks in the past, I've thought, they're going to sit a while and then they just get kind of thrown to the wolves.
Yeah. Literally really Baker Mayfield the last time with Tyrod Taylor.
I really think it comes down to, I think Tyrod Taylor's biggest selling point is that he keeps the ball. He doesn't really throw turnovers. He doesn't fumble it that much. I think the big turning point will be if he throws an interception this game, he might get thrown out. But back to the question, yeah, I think I would have to go Phillip Rivers as well. If there's no negatives for turnovers, I think that's going to be a smash play, especially against a Vikings team that got absolutely dismantled by Aaron Rodgers last game. They're probably still going to be reeling a little bit, and Phillip Rivers can kind of get in on the action a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you for your question. Our next question coming in here. In our opinion, what is the best fantasy football player in the world? Oh my gosh, this is a soccer question, Pride. This is a soccer question. I don't know anything about soccer.
Leo and Cristiano are kind of getting up there in age.
Neymar got hurt in the World Cup that one year.
I
I'm
think
going Luis Suarez. That's who I'm going with.
I think I would have to go with Kylian Mbappe. Obviously, I don't really keep up with international soccer, but I remember Kylian Mbappe was a monster in the last World Cup for France. I mean, he's got the speed to just burn everyone. Just give him a long
Put him in
pass
your
like
flex.
they did.
Put him in your flex.
As long as he stays
He's
on
the
side,
Deshaun Jackson. Put him in your flex. Thank you for your question nonetheless. Do appreciate you stopping by. Moving on to our next one. Marvin Jones or John Brown? Leaning towards John Brown, but that Miami DB squad is good. Pride. It was okay. It wasn't that bad last week.
Byron Jones and Xavier Howard are a decent cornerback.
I thought I saw one of them was going to be out. Maybe that was someone else.
I can check it quick.
Yeah, I really thought, I really thought that one of them was going to be out. I did just get a new alert saying that KJ Hamler is going to be starting today for the Broncos, so that's really good against that tough defense, as well as it looks as though Courtland Sutton is playing. I don't think you can play Courtland Sutton even though he is playing. But this question, nonetheless, Marvin Jones or John Brown? I think I go John Brown, honestly. I mean, Kenny Galladay's out again. We saw how bad Marvin Jones was last week when we thought he was going to be a smash play. So I think inevitably I'm going to be going John Brown. John Brown was still really involved, and I think that Josh Allen's going to be able to cook against this Miami defense. I'm for John Brown. He really surprised me last week.
Yeah, I think I have to go with John Brown as well. You know, I think John Brown might kind of be like Marvin Jones for the Bills, where he's really good as a number 2 kind of threat, taking that number 2 coverage. And I think showing last week, he showed he can get the deep ball. And even with Stephon Diggs getting a lot of targets, I think John Brown's still going to have a good game. And I think out of those cornerbacks dealing with injuries, I think Xavier Howard might be dealing with some injury, but it doesn't look serious. It looks like they both will play. And so that could be tough for them, but I think with his type of speed, he might be able to get past for some big gains.
Yeah. Thank you for your question. Appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully you enjoy. Now my dog has brought in her toy pig. So the lizard and the pig have joined the stream. Thank you, Penny Girl, for that. Thank you for your question, my good man. Pride, I did just get an alert saying that Andy Reid will use a defogging product for his face shield today. So in case you were making a prop bet on how fogged up it would get, he's going to be using a defogging product on it. So you might want to pull your bet from there. Let's go back to a couple more questions from C-Dog Gaming. Ravens or the Cards defense? I think this is easy for me. I'm going Ravens. That offensive line for Philadelphia is really bad. They gave up 8 sacks last week. Aaron Donald's a monster. I go the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there.
My bad. My bad. I was thinking Rams. The Ravens going up against Houston, also still a bad offensive line. I still go Ravens here. I think they're going to shut Houston down.
Yeah, just attack everyone who's not named Laramie Tunsil on that line, and they'll be able to get past.
Yeah.
No. Ravens, same for me. Cardinals, they're going up against Washington. I think they can do well against Dwayne Haskins as long as I think Dwayne Haskins played pretty safe last game. I think if he does that again this game, then it won't be as good of a time for the Cardinals defense. They'll be able to limit them in yards, but they won't be able to get too many big, like turnovers or sacks. So I think I'd have to go to the Ravens here just because, Texans, I still don't know what they're doing down in Houston. I still don't know what BOB's doing down in Houston. And, that team last week, I think, I said the Ravens were the only team last week to limit their opponents to less than 10 points. So you got to love that. Yeah.
I agree with you on that one. I was really thinking Rams. I've got the Rams defense going in one of my leagues, and I really wanted them in another league. I think they're a smash play this week. So, yeah, I was really thinking on them. Another question coming in from him. No, do not apologize for asking any questions. You're all good with the questions. Keep bringing them in. Edelman or Cooper Kupp this week, full point PPR. Kupp going up against the Eagles this week. See, I knew a Rams question was coming. I just knew it. Or Julian Edelman. I think I go Kupp. I think Kupp's going to have a better game this week.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you there. I forget who are the Eagles cornerbacks. I want to say
not good. Well, they have Slay, I think.
Yeah, they have big play. That's what I was thinking of. So that might be a problem. I'm not sure how much Slay plays in the slot though, which is kind of where Cooper Kupp
I was gonna say, I think
makes
it's
his
gonna be
money.
worse for Robert Woods than
Yeah, so
it'll
it's probably
be.
going to be. Yeah, I think he mostly stays to the side, so it's probably going to be worse for Robert Woods. So Cooper Kupp maybe a slam dunk play this week. I said it earlier. I don't really like the passing game for the Patriots, at least what I saw in week 1. So I don't really like Edelman this week. So yeah, Cooper Kupp is who I
Yeah.
would suggest.
All right. Thank you for your questions, my man. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. If you are watching the stream, hey, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be doing this every single Sunday. Hopefully you do enjoy this. If you want other streams, just maybe, podcasts or little mini shorts or things like that, let us know in the comments. Like this video, subscribe, do those things. Let us know you like this content. Let us know you want to continue to see this content, and we can continue to make it happen for you. If you want to see our writers from our website, timeskewed.com, who write about the various teams in the NFL, if you want to see them come on and do matchup previews for their teams, let us know. We can make that happen as well. So yeah, let us know. Let's go to our next question here, coming in from Ned. Ned, hopefully you're enjoying the stream, my man. Anthony Miller or Ronald Jones flex PPR? Real quick, Pride, I go Ronald Jones here. He's just got a higher ceiling than Anthony Miller.
Yeah, I have to agree.
You agree?
There. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Anthony Miller. Anthony Miller, I think he's one of those guys that you're looking to trade after his great week 1 performance.
Yeah. I agree, especially since it looks as though Allen Robinson is going to be getting a new deal, maybe. So, yeah, definitely Ronald Jones for me. We'll try to go through, since we got about 19 minutes till we're done. Make sure you guys do keep putting those questions. We're going to get to all the questions that are in there before 11, and we're going to try to get out of here as close to 11 as possible. And we're going to be going through them all, so do make sure you get them in there. We do appreciate you guys stopping by. So, Pride, let's go through these, I guess, a little quicker. We'll go with a little bit more pace. We got a good amount in the queue right now. Coming in from Verified Moo, welcome back, man. I appreciate you stopping by. Sent a trade. Does not like Mark Ingram or Robert Woods for Mike Evans. Don't like Mark Ingram and Robert Woods for Mike Evans, and it got accepted. I have enough running back depth, so I don't care about Ingram, but I've come to liking Woods over Evans. What do you say? So you sent a trade and for Mike Evans. Oh, that's tough. I mean, I don't like Mike Evans personally. I think Mike Evans is going to be worse on the season than Robert Woods, so I would take the Robert Woods side.
Yeah, I don't really know how to think about this because I think Mike Evans, I don't know what to think about Mike Evans right now. I mean, he saw very limited play in the first week. It's very questionable this next week, so I would like to see him back. I think right now, though, Robert Woods would be kind of my side to take since he actually has played more in week 1. And I mean, I'm right there with you with Mark Ingram. After seeing the Ravens running game in week 1, just really took everything that Ingram had and just threw it away for me.
Ingram will not be on this team next year. You can. I've been saying that for 2 years, and you can put that. Go make a prop bet or something. Mark Ingram will not be on this football team in 2021. Let's move on to our next question. Coming in from Fernando. Hopefully you are enjoying the stream, Fernando. Thank you for stopping by. For flex, full PPR, Ingram, White, Anthony Miller, Scotty Miller, or Higbee. A lot of options. Love to see it. I'd go Scotty Miller here. I think Scotty Miller has the highest opportunity to A, catch passes, and B, get in the end zone. So I go Scotty Miller. Pride, real quick, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you there. Scotty Miller, he's going to be the number 2 right now. And, like you said, if Mike Evans isn't feeling it, if he re-aggravates that hamstring, then he could be the number 1 wide receiver on the team by the end of the day.
Yeah, thank you for your question, man. Hopefully you're enjoying it. And let's move on to our next one coming in from Nathan. Dallas Goddard or Higbee, full PPR? I go Dallas Goddard here. He showed me enough last week to make me be able to pull the trigger in a full PPR to go in over Higbee. Pride?
Yeah, Tyler Higbee really kind of disappointed me last week against the Cowboys. Whereas Goddard, 9 targets, 8 receptions. Love to see that kind of production from him. So, yeah, Dallas Goddard all day.
Another question coming in. Golly, Penny.
You feeling okay?
Stop it. No, she actually just bit my finger. I'm hurting low key. I went to grab her pig and there's a little bruise there. It definitely hurts. She's a goddamn killer, man. She's a killer.
Probably need to lock your room from here on out when we do
I
these.
can't. Literally, if you could see my room right now, so side story. We got a new bed, okay? And so our old bed we're giving to a friend, and it's literally, we haven't been able to do it yet, and there's no room in our apartment. So it's just sitting in the doorway here. So I can't close the door. So I'm just stuck like this. And I know that she has to go out, so I'll take her out when we're done. But it's fine. She'll be fine. Moving on, we've got another question coming in from Nathan. Will Fuller, David Johnson for the flex. I'm going to go Will Fuller. I think they're low-key going to be down. Will Fuller is clear-cut number one wide receiver. They're going to have to go to him. Maybe he can catch a touchdown deep this game. I go Will Fuller over David Johnson. I've got more confidence in Fuller this week.
I think I might have to go David Johnson just because I'm still very wary about Will Fuller being a boom or bust kind of guy, especially if Brandon Cooks gets fully healthy and therefore gets more involved in the offense this week. I'm very wary of Will Fuller just putting up an absolute dud for you. So I think David Johnson might be the safer pick for the flex, and that's who I would go with. Yeah,
sweet. Thank you for your question, Nathan. Appreciate it. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Coming in, our next question here. Out of Kenyon Drake, Jonathan Taylor, David Johnson, and Ronald Jones, what two would you take? Not just for this week, but for every week, because if it was just this week, I would put Jones over David. Okay. Kenyon Drake's in there. I think Kenyon Drake can still be an RB1. And then I think the only other one on there who has at least season-long capability of being a running back one is Jonathan Taylor. David Johnson, I think, is going to be a solid running back 2 for you. And I think Ronald Jones is going to be a solid running back 2 that can be a running back 1. But also if Leonard Fournette starts to get more work, next thing you know, Ronald Jones could become a running back 3. So I go rest of the season, Kenyon Drake, Jonathan Taylor. This week, however, I'm going to be playing, I'm honestly low-key between these options, low-key on the lowest of keys, pride. I'm going Jonathan Taylor and Ronald Jones this week, just because that defensive front for the Washington football team is low-key very good. And I'm a little concerned that maybe Kenyon Drake won't be able to run the ball that effectively against this tough matchup, or at least what seems like a tougher matchup, where Jonathan Taylor going against that Minnesota defense, not very good. Maybe the Colts play with a lead and he falls into the end zone. So I think this week I go Jonathan Taylor and Ronald Jones. I personally am playing Kenyon Drake in all my leagues, but I also don't have these options.
Yeah, that's actually a good call. I mean, especially with I think it's Danielle Hunter. He's still injured. I think he's on the IR. So yeah, that Minnesota front is very attackable. For the rest of the season, though, I think obviously you'd have to go Kenyon Drake, I believe. And I think I would actually still go David Johnson because I think Jonathan Taylor might be RB1 material, but also I feel like Nyheim Hines might eat into his receiving abilities just a bit, whereas David Johnson, I think he showed that he can run the ball and he can also receive the ball, especially if Duke Johnson got hurt in the first game, and so that might hinder his backup's ability to eat into his work. And so I think David Johnson is who I would go with along with Kenyon Drake for the rest of the season. But this week, the other two might be a really good option.
Yeah, got 10 minutes left. Get your questions in now. We will be stopping at 11 today, so make sure you do get your questions in. He's got another one, Vikings, Colts, or Seahawks defense. That really sucks. I mean, that really, 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 really. Go pick up the Rams. Go pick up the Rams if they're on the waiver wire. Go pick up the Rams. Play the Rams. That's who you should play as your defense. Maybe low-key, even out of these options, if the Washington football team is on the waiver wire, I would almost play them over them because that defensive front, I really do feel like has a good chance at getting at least 3 sacks today on Kyler.
I mean, I doubt that he has 3 defenses on his team, so these might be his best options off the waiver wire.
Golly, so that's tough.
Out of these options, I I think I would choose the Seahawks defense. The Vikings defense, obviously, last week they were one of the worst playing against the Green Bay Packers. The Colts defense last week obviously lost to a Jacksonville team that we thought was going to get hands down the Trevor Lawrence pick next season. So I think the Seahawks have the best chance to have a good game against Cam Newton and the New England Patriots. If anything else, I think they're going to hold the Patriots to the least amount of yards out of these three.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree with that, Pride. I think that's a good take. There's no way I'm playing the Colts defense this week, especially after what they did to Jacksonville. You can't play the Vikings after what happened with Green Bay. So really, out of those three, the only option is the Seattle Seahawks. Moving on to our next question, coming in from Tones Sports Cards. Thank you, Tones, for stopping by. Full point PPR flex. Marvin Jones, Christian Kirk, James Robinson. Go Bucks. James Robinson. He was the only running back in week 1 who had 100% of his team's carries. So I like that the most. Still involved in the receiving game. Marvin Jones. Christian Kirk's completely out. No way. Not happening. And then Marvin Jones was so disappointing. Now they go up against Green Bay. I expected Lions to get absolutely shut down. So, yeah, James Robinson for me.
Yeah, Marvin Jones, I was not happy with his performance against the Bears. Christian Kirk, I saw Christian Kirk more on returns than I did on offense. So James Robinson to me is the obvious answer. And I think that's good. Moving on to be a good play.
Coming back in from Verified Moo, he sent the question earlier. Let me see if I can't put that back on the screen. Yeah, talking about Mark Ingram and Robert Woods and Mike Evans. So just to refresh everyone's memory, coming back in saying, trading to get back Woods after this week, assuming Evans could have a decent week with Godwin out and Woods have a bad week being covered by Slay. I personally am someone who doesn't really want to trade one of my players away 1 week and then try to pick him up the next week again. I feel like the likelihood of that happening isn't very high, maybe. I don't know. It's just never really been something I do. But rest of season, I do think Robert Woods is going to be better than Mike Evans. So, I mean, if you can trade him, then do so. But I just hope you don't have to give up something else. Maybe you can get something else.
Yeah. The only thing that would concern me about this, I mean, doing a trade with someone concerning the same players 2 weeks in a row, that might make them want to get something more from you. And so that's really the biggest concern, especially if Mike Evans doesn't show up this week. It might be very hard for you to get Robert Woods back. Even if Robert Woods doesn't have a good game, I think it's really dependent right now on if Mike Evans can perform, which, I mean, against the Carolina Panthers, I think he really does have the chance. I mean, the Raiders did well against the Panthers last week. They scored 34 points. So I think it's a really big if. I would definitely be really hesitant about it if I was the one you're trading with, but I think you would have a shot. It's all depending on Mike Evans' performance, though.
Yeah, if Mike Evans does not play well, then you can kiss that goodbye. That's for sure. All right, here we go. We got another question coming in. Coming in from Max. Max, thank you for your question. Scotty Miller or John Brown? I go Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller has a higher opportunity in my eyes, and especially with Godwin out, Mike Evans still a little bit banged up. I go Scotty Miller here. Right?
Yeah. I really love John Brown, but I think I have to agree with you. Scotty Miller seems like the best option here, just with his position. And like I said, Mike Evans, if he re-aggravates that hamstring, Scotty Miller could be the number one target.
Sweet. Moving on to our next question now. Coming in from Blake, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Tom Brady, or should I pick up Aaron Rodgers? Let Russ cook. That's what I'm going with. Let Russ cook. Let's see what he is. He was the number one quarterback last week. I think you got to play him again this week against the New England Patriots. I understand it's a tough matchup, but also I think Russell Wilson is matchup proof, and he can prove that this week. If this offense is different this year, then he can prove it this week, today, that he's matchup proof and he should be in your lineup 100% of the time. So we'll see. I go with Russell Wilson here. Pride, do you agree?
I think I have to agree. I mean, I really liked what I saw last week from Russell Wilson. It was against the Falcons defense, which isn't going to be really good. But, I mean, this Patriots defense, it's not the same that it was last year. They lost a couple of guys. And so I think with the kind of newfound value that's the Seahawks have in the passing game, I really think that Russell Wilson can be consistent throughout this season.
Yeah. I mean, literally what we've been asking for year after year is Russell Wilson to be consistent. If we get Russell Wilson consistent this year, he's the number one. He's going to be the number one this year. Especially if we continue to get performances like we did in week 1, dude. It's going to be scary because you drafted him. A lot of people are going to win championships with Russell Wilson because you drafted him in like the 6th round. You didn't spend a 2nd or 3rd round pick on Lamar or Patrick Mahomes, but you're going to get someone who did better than them. So I think he could really be a big winner. Let's go to our next question. We got 4 minutes left, everyone. So make sure you do put your questions in now. We're stopping at 11 today. Put those questions in. Let's get them answered before time runs out. Coming in here, Jordan Howard or Jerry Jeudy at the flex? I mean, he's saying it. SMH. That's tough. Go pick up Paris Campbell. That's my recommendation. Go pick up Paris Campbell if he hasn't been picked up. But no, between these two, I mean, you got to put Jeudy out there. You have to, because Jordan Howard, I mean, I'll pull it up real quick just so we're all on the same page here. But Jordan Howard was really, really bad this last week. I mean, this was a guy who had 8 attempts for 7 yards and 1 touchdown. Do you want to play that? I don't want to play that. I'll take my chances against Jerry Jeudy and that Pittsburgh defense. Yeah. You got to go him.
In this type of situation, I would choose whoever's got the worst defense. But I mean, the Steelers and Bills both have really good defenses, and so, I think you just have to go Jerry Jeudy, especially if it's a half PPR or full PPR type of league. I think Jerry Jeudy, you have to go with him. Even if Jerry Jeudy doesn't do much, I can almost guarantee Jordan Howard is going to do less.
That's true. That is a very good point, Pride. Very good point here. All right, guys, we got 3 minutes left. Get your questions in now. We're going to be stopping here really quick, so do get those questions in. I just want to take a minute. I do want to say thank you to everyone for stopping by. The support's been incredible. The questions have been incredible. Last week, we were answering questions for the last 30 minutes. This week, we've been answering questions pretty much since we started. So thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for, letting us know this is what you want to see. If you want to see this more, if you maybe want this to be longer, then, make sure you let us know on Twitter at TimesQPod. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you're liking this video. We do appreciate you guys. So here we go. We got a couple more questions in. Thank you to everyone again who is listening. Here we go. Coming in from Shelton. Flex. David Montgomery, Marquise Brown.
Yeah, Marquise Brown.
No question about it. Marquise Brown.
I was really hoping this season that Marquise Brown could kind of get more involved in passing game. Just the Ravens to pass the ball more. And if week 1's any indicator, I think they are going to. And so David Montgomery, you're not dealing with a goal here. Whereas with Marquise Brown, I think you are dealing with a big goal vault of PPR points.
Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. This could be our last question. Get your questions in now, guys. We are almost done with the stream. Got about a minute left, so get them in now if you have any last-minute ones, and we'll answer them real quick. Here we go. Coming in from Michael. Michael, thank you for your question. Thank you for stopping by. Really do appreciate it. Wide receiver 2 in flex. Half point per reception. Keenan Allen? Nope. Malcolm Brown? Maybe. Robbie Anderson, Nyheim Hines, Cortland Sutton, DJ Chark, Terry McLaurin, Cam Akers. Oh, that's easy for me. I'm going to be going Terry McLaurin, and then I'm going to be going DJ Chark. DJ Chark or Malcolm Brown, in my opinion. DJ Chark or Malcolm Brown. I think that, honestly, everything that I've heard, they didn't want Malcolm Brown to have that much work in week 1. So I think they're going to try to give Cam Akers a little bit more work. So, yeah, I think I'm going Terry McLaurin and DJ Chark here. Keenan Allen was absolutely trash last week. I mean, that's exactly what I expected. Now he has to go up against the Chiefs. I think Mike Williams is going to be the better wide receiver. So, yeah, I'm out on him. Pride, who are you going with real quick?
I think my wide receiver 2, I would go with DJ Chark. For the flex, though, I'm not sure if
it's got to be the fighter jet.
I'm not sure if I can trust him, though, going against the Cardinals defense. I mean, I know Patrick Peterson is kind of old, but I'm still not sure about that, especially since I was kind of expecting more from him in week 1.
He's the only target, though. That's my thing. He's the only target. Naeem Hines might not be bad, I guess. I just don't think you can put Robbie Anderson out there. I don't think you can put Cortland Sutton out there. I don't think you can put Keenan Allen out there. I don't think you can put Cam Akers out there. So then for me, it comes down to Malcolm Brown or Naeem Hines, I guess, and then Terry McLaurin. So I think if I had to rank those, I go Terry McLaurin, DJ Chark, Malcolm Brown, Naeem Hines. That's how I go.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Terry McLaurin. Yeah. I think this Cardinals defense may still be attackable with Terry McLaurin there. He just needs more of an opportunity, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I think they'll get it.
I mean, I guess week 1 he was going against Darius Slay.
Yeah.
So I think that might have limited it a bit. I think, yeah. Terry McLaurin will probably be a good player.
The F1 fighter jet. All right, guys, it is 11. We did get 2 more questions in. So we are going to stop after these 2. Do appreciate you guys stopping by. So, Pride, let's answer these real quick. Coming in from Blake. Blake, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it, my man. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. Kittle is out for me. Should I play Noah Fant, Johnny Smith, or go get Jared Cook or Dallas Goddard? Oh man. Wow. Can I play in that league? How do you
have so many good tight end options?
That's the league I want to play in. Pride, we got to stop playing with people who take 2 tight ends.
Yeah.
And you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem, Pride. Stop it.
I need that comfortability.
I get it. Apparently everyone does. Man. Jonnu's out. Jared Cook is an interesting option, especially if Michael Thomas misses. I think he's the biggest benefactor, in my opinion, if MT's out. We already talked Noah Fant and Dallas Goddard, and I went with Goddard earlier, so I would put him. So then for me, it comes down to Jared Cook or Dallas Goddard. I'm going to go Jared Cook on the low. I think that might be a little bit of a better matchup. I think he's going to be more involved. So, yeah, I'm going him.
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers, Ian Thomas didn't do so well last week against the Raiders, but I mean, that was mostly just because the Panthers were looking for Robbie Anderson a lot. Yeah, honestly, with Michael Thomas out, Jared Cook might be the best bet out of those guys just because, no offense, going against a tough Steelers defense and Dallas Goddard. He's got the Rams, who I'm still not sure what to think of their defense, but they looked okay last week against the Cowboys, so Jared Cook might be the best play out of those guys.
Bro, I swear. This gal. I do apologize. Penny, how are you going to do that to everyone? Come on. You just looking at me now. All right. We got one more question left. And then we're going to get out of here, as these were the ones that were put in before 11. Coming in for Manuel, thank you for your question, my man. Benny Snell, Malcolm Brown, or Anthony Miller? In that scenario, I go Malcolm Brown. Anthony Miller, you're chasing a touchdown, which maybe he gets it against the New York Giants, but Benny Snell is going to be splitting carries with James Conner, so I'm out on Benny Snell. Malcolm Brown's my choice. Pride, do you agree?
Yeah, with James Conner active this week, I think Malcolm Brown, he's really the only one who's going to get who's the only possible one to get number one at his position amount of work this week, and so I think you have to go Malcolm Brown.
Nice. All right. Well, I will answer these 2 questions real quick, literally in under a minute. This one coming in, pick 2, Deontay Johnson, Scotty Miller, Paris Campbell, full point PPR. I'm going Paris Campbell. and Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller, yeah. I'm going to go Scotty Miller there. Yeah, Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller and Paris Campbell. That's what I go with. Pride, do you agree?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I have to agree.
And then
any of the three are good.
Yeah, you should be fine either way. And then Peterson, Gibson, or Hines. I'm Hines. Got to go Hines here. I think the Hines or Peterson, depending on Hines. I think they're going to be really, really far down. So yeah, I go Hines here. Cool. Well, that is it for this stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And we do appreciate you guys stopping by. Real quick, I just saw this come in. I feel the need to answer it. James Robinson. That's who you should go with. Full point PR. Okay, I'm done. That's it. I'm done. We're not going 15 minutes over like last time. We're done. 11:05. That's pretty good. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for stopping by. We do really appreciate it. If you haven't listened to our podcast, do so. Apple Podcast, Spotify, even here on YouTube. You can check it out. Time Skew. We pretty much do this, but we do it 3 times a week, and we do waiver wire. We do matchup previews. We do a whole bunch of different things. So do make sure you check it out. Really do appreciate you guys. Really appreciate you stopping by. We love continuing to build this community and continuing to build the Skew Nation. You guys are awesome. You guys make this happen. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time. We appreciate the questions. Loved answering questions this whole time. Pride, did you have a good time?
Oh, yeah, I had a really good time.
Hell yeah. Love it. Thank you guys so much for your support. Drew Brees or LeBron James? LeBron James. Got to go with LeBron James. Miller or Terry McLaurin? Terry McLaurin. That's who you got to go with. You got to go with Terry McLaurin there. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it. And we will see you next Sunday. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Timeskew Pod. Check us out on the site, timeskewed.com, TIMESKEWED.com. Thank you guys so much. You're awesome. Hey, let's go get these W's in week 2.
Yeah.
See ya.